Hey everyone, today I wanted to talk about my Fitbit Charge 2 and how I, as an endurance athlete and professional triathlete, like to use my Fitbit. Now I'm just going to talk about how I like to use it, but if you want a full in-depth review of all the features and everything the Charge 2 can do, then I'll put a link just down below and you can check out that video if you're looking for a full in-depth review. But for today, like I said, I'm just going to review how I use it as a triathlete. So I bought my Fitbit about 3 weeks ago, and I've worn it almost every single day since then. I wanted to start tracking some of my metrics, and most specifically, I wanted to start tracking my heart rate during the day, just to see about burnout or, all those types of things that heart rate can tell you. And other than heart rate, I also wanted something to track my sleep, which the Fitbit does really well. And lastly, I don't use it that much. I know most people use a Fitbit for this reason, but that would be to keep track of steps. And basically with steps is I wanted to see if I went over, the 20,000 or the 25,000 or the 30,000 step mark in a day, how do I feel the next day? And just being able to keep track of steps with my Fitbit is really key for that, and helps me realize when I should be taking the next day off or changing the hard workout to an easy workout, or if I gotten a certain amount of sleep, then I can push harder the next day, or I know I'm going to need more sleep. So just a whole array of things that I can kind of start to analyze and see what I need more of, what I need less of, and let me show you how I use the app. Okay, so like I said before, if you want a full in-depth review, just look down below in the description and I'll link to a video that has a good review. But here's my Fitbit. I like how it looks. It's actually pretty sleek, but I don't actually look at the Fitbit on my wrist that much. I more so use the app. So let me show you that. So here's what the app looks like. Right now I'm in the steps setting, and you can see, we'll look at this week here. So this is February 19th to February 25th. I took almost 130,000 steps. And one thing I noticed about this week was I was very tired. Just walking that much throughout the week didn't leave much energy in my body for doing actual triathlon workouts, and any sort of running was definitely out of the question for me. The one good thing about Fitbit is it's nice to actually have the numbers. I can actually look at, I walked 130,000 steps that week. That might be why my training wasn't as good as what I had hoped for. And then, other than steps, I also like to use the sleep feature on Fitbit. And so as you can see, I try and shoot for 8.5 hours of sleep every night, and that's kind of my goal when I'm training hard. I know 8.5 hours of sleep, usually, not all the time, but usually it helps me to recover the fastest. And the one thing that I really like about the sleep feature on Fitbit is it will show you how many times you were awake, how many times you were restless, how many times you were awake from being restless, and it will also tell you when throughout the night that actually happened. And then lastly, another reason why I got the Fitbit was to start recording my heart rate throughout the day. So as you can see, I don't have much variance from day to day. 49, 48, I think I've seen as low as 44 throughout the day. Now I'm sure as I keep using it and keep getting further along with my training and maybe start to get closer to that edge of being burnt out, that I'll actually start to see some differences in my heart rate. So far though, it's been a nice little feature. It hasn't told me anything like I am approaching burnout or anything, but it is nice to just see throughout the day where I had my spikes. Obviously those were workouts, and then it's always lowest when I'm sleeping. So 215, my heart rate was 39 beats per minute, which is pretty low. So along with the steps, it'll tell you how many floors you've climbed, and during that week where I went almost 130,000 steps. Sometimes the amount of floors I climbed in a day was over 200, which is just another reason why it was obvious to me that, maybe training should be a little bit easy that day. And that's it. That's essentially how I like to use my Fitbit. So like I said, I like using it for the 3 metrics: steps, and then more importantly for me is sleep and heart rate throughout the day. So I've only had it for a few weeks, and the heart rate and the sleep haven't told me a whole lot yet. One thing I have noticed with sleep is that when I'm on my phone or on the computer right up until the time that I go to bed, I am usually much more restless throughout the night, and usually I'll lose about 20 minutes of sleep, whereas if I go to bed and I have, a calming tea like chamomile, and I do some meditation or yoga before bed, I usually am not restless at all throughout the night, and that 20 minutes that I might have been awake the night before because I was on my phone doesn't happen when I'm off my phone. I know that's probably common sense, but it's nice to actually see the hard data on your phone through your Fitbit. And then another thing that I've noticed with my Fitbit over the last 3 weeks is that when I hit about 20,000 steps of walking in a day before I do any of my training, it's usually really hard for me to recover. So say I walked 20,000 steps and then I wanted to start my training. If I have a training day, just like I would otherwise if I hadn't taken those steps, it's much harder for me to recover or hit my certain goals that I have set up for myself in those workouts. I can definitely see that as time goes on, I'll start to enjoy my Fitbit even more and more because I'll actually be able to get some data and as training increases, and I'll be able to really start to focus on certain things that help with my sleep, or basically things that will help with overall recovery for me. Now, before I got a Fitbit, I was trying to decide between an activity tracker like the Fitbit Charge 2 or an oximeter, blood oximeter, I believe it's called. And after watching some reviews on the Fitbit Charge 2, it was pretty clear that I would need an activity tracker over the blood oximeter. So lastly, I would say I know most serious endurance athletes wouldn't wear a Fitbit for training. I think Fitbit users are more people that just want to be healthy, maybe slowly start to build up their fitness, and most of all keep track of their steps. But I think that my Fitbit is going to kind of be a secret tool in helping me recover and keep track of some small things like how much sleep am I getting per week, per night, and just being able to chart my heart rate data for days and weeks and months on end could come in useful. And like I said, I've already noticed one thing is that when I take over 20,000 steps that I need to change my training that day or take it a lot easier. So if you like my video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on everything running, triathlon, and nutrition related. And if you're interested in getting a Fitbit Charge 2 for yourself, I'll put a link just down below to the Amazon.ca and the Amazon US sites where you can order the Fitbit from there. Hope this helps, and if you do end up getting a Fitbit Charge 2, add me as a friend and we can try and have a step challenge.